Hello, guitar players around the world. And I'm not talking to the blues dentist lawyer people that have the cash to buy one of the big ass Soldanos, which are now back on the market. Well, I'm talking to you as well, but I'm talking to the guitar players that always wanted an SLO100. What is an SLO100? It's the slow. It's the super lead overdrive. Well, all of a sudden, it's not so cool anymore. SLO sounds way cooler. From Soldano, which is one of the most coveted amps, at least in my book. That's the reason why I have the kind of little brother, the Hot Rod 50 there, an amp I will never give up. The SLO100 is one of the amps ever. And for a while now, Mike Soldano hasn't made them anymore. Hard to come by, the Transformers, you can't get them anymore. So Boutique Amps Distribution first partnered up with him on the Soldano module for the Synergy system right there. And then Boutique Amps Distribution said, this brand is awesome, we want it. So Synergy acquired Soldano and is still working with Mike you know, the man behind everything. And they brought back the SLO100 down to the inconsistencies of the writing on the front panel. It's less an amp to take to the gig and pour beer over. It's more of work of art. At $4,000, it's also an amp for the collector, the guy that always wanted an SLO but couldn't get them because they didn't make them anymore, for the guy that wants the real deal. Now everyone's like, oh, it's not a real Soldano. Those people need to shut the fuck up, because it is. Mike's involved. It doesn't have the original transformers. Yeah, these are, as far as I can tell or heard, these are better or differently good. Stop your whining about the tiniest little thing. They made it as good as it can be and actually improved one or two things. According to Peter Arendt, on super mega gain, there was a little bit of fizzliness in the low end, because Peter is like, you know, he's a picky motherfucker. I'm sorry, why am I talking this? I'm excited. He is too. So that, and then the effects loop was always like working with rack effects, but not so great with pedals. And now it does everything you want it to do. So it's actually a better SLO, but it's $4,000, and because those transformers are so hard to come by, try to get your hands on one. It's going to be almost impossible. Put in a pre-order and wait. There's only a limited amount they can do a month because of those parts that are hard to come by. Now with the 30, nothing is different other than the number. Well, which reflects the wattage. So the SLO100 has, I don't know, 98 watt? 100, you dumbass! 100 watts, and the 30 has 32 watts. Now, I don't know, it's obviously 30 watts. It's exactly the same thing, but less watts, and that means less of those big tubes, which are something. I don't know. I have a cheat sheet here. So the tubes are hand-wired in the US. That doesn't tell me anything. It says 25881/6L6. That still doesn't tell me anything. I would like to say 6L6, but it could be 5881. They might be the same thing. I don't know anything. I'm a guitar player. I play the damn things. So that's that's what it could have. It's got 5 AX7s. It's got a lifetime warranty. It weighs 30 pounds. It's about this big. Compact design, blah, blah, blah. Oh, difference also is that the channel switching can now be done on the front panel. We have a front panel camera, and the channel switching can now be done here, which on the original couldn't be done. There is a foot switch included, which I left in the box. It's a nice little metal foot switch. Why not? Metal! And but now it can be switched here, which is great for studio, because why would you want a foot switch in the studio? Let's, while we're here, go over the controls. As you can tell, this video is, I'm just ranting because I'm excited. I played with this all day. So we're on the clean channel now, which can also be crunch, or le crunch in French. So that's the gain for that. That's reversed. That's the gain for when I switch it to overdrive. So that's channel 2. And it's not overdrive, that's freaking high gain. Bass, middle, and treble are words. And then that's the volume for the, let's call it clean channel, and the volume for the lead channel, presence and depth for the power section, which means high end and a low end, okay? And that's really it. There's a bright switch, which I never went to off because I like it bright, but we can play with that. And then in the back, I don't know why, but we have 2 cameras, and hopefully Leslie uses both, because otherwise, why did I pay for those cameras? There's impedance all the way on the left, 2 speaker outputs, a line out if you wanted to, I don't know, go into a second power amp with it. I don't think that's compensated, so you could run that into an IR loader and all that stuff if you wanted to. There's a level, which I think is for the effects loop. Then you can see the effects loop over here. I have a pedal wired into it, and there's the foot switch input. This is a very, very simple amp. I have this on a Synergy 212, because that's a cab I have, loaded with vintage 30s. And you're gonna ask, what's all this? You're gonna hear this through the aux with creambacks, because that's the sound I like. But I'm miking this with a Lewitt MTP 440 over here, which is SM57-ish, and an LCT 240. It's $150 mid-condenser size mic. And right there, this is a deflex. And that's actually there so that I'm hearing what I'm doing, because right here, the sound would go there, and I'm getting reflections which are dull. I want to hear the sound as good as possible where I'm sitting, which is why I have the deflex. That's the deflex edition. Great tool if you actually want to hear what you're doing. As I said, and I can't stress it anymore, it is the closest representation of what an SLO should be, in this case with 30 watts instead of 100. The one thing that I've noticed in my experiences with amps, small amps versus big amps, is the bigger transformers will give you more of that really low chunka thing that feels like a tank running over you, and this amp is a tank when it comes to sound. It's the most massive sound ever. Now, already on the 30, I haven't even played the 100. Now, the 100 will have this massive super chunky low end. However, I don't necessarily think I wouldn't want that, because I'll cut that out of a mix anyway. Is it cool on stage? Yes. Is it awesome to kill your drummer with it? Yes. Is it something we guitar players want when the pants are fluttering? Yes. But in a mix, I'm going to EQ that shit out. So maybe you save money. This is $26.99 in the US instead of $4,000 for the big one. Everything is the same except the wattage and the weight. So you save some money, and you don't necessarily have to EQ out too much of the low end. It's still hefty, like I am. So you're gonna have to EQ something out. So what we're gonna do now is, with this whole crazy setup, on top I have a D1 from Walrus Audio. It's a nice delay so that we can, have some delay and check out the effects. So we're gonna go through a whole bunch of guitars so that you hopefully find something that's similar to what you have. I'm not going to talk too much of that, so from now on, loads and loads of sounds, and then I'm going to tell you, again, what I'm telling you now, it's freaking insane. It's awesome. So, my 2 cents already done. I played it in LA, my jaw dropped. This is, the track I recorded with it at the beginning was a blast. The sounds just are there. It cannot do wrong. Okay, moving on. PJD Carry Elite. It's a semi-hollow, some of the most beautiful clean sounds I've ever heard. And here they are. Clean, everything kind of in the middle. And off we go. Let's see that effects loop in action. So for the clean, I actually like to get the gain up. I have more spankiness, I have a little bit more response. Quite a bit more fatitude. Kamal S Classic. Super high-end guitar for super high-end amp. That's kind of the setup you want, if you ask me. Here we have a Maybach Lester, which is a, single cutty awesomeness. Really nice guitar. Let's look at the bright switch. I'm a bright switch guy, so I'd go bright switch, but actually for jazzy round stuff, unbrighten that. Both of them, on a lot of amps for me, bright switch always up, always up, always up, because once you put that down, it's way too dull. Both of these are beautiful, really cool. So let's go little bit crunch here. That's kind of the clean channel, kinda. It's not too overwhelming with depth all the way up. Some amps will just totally trash it. No, this is just a lot of bass, but it's not too much. I mean... Okay, here we go into too much. The low end is something that you have to experience in the room. It is utterly ridiculous how chunky it is, but immediately there. It's not flubby at all. It's just a massive sounding amp. Wow. We're gonna go and have other guitars. Now we're gonna do 3 more things, and we're gonna do them briefly. The Soldano SLO is known as the amp that all the solo guys used, you know, from a Lukather to a Santana to a Vi and all that. What very few people don't know is that it's technically very, very, very similar, or actually the rectifier is very, very similar to the SLO. It's kind of a rip-off. Recti-rip something. So this is a massively metally amp, but it was never branded as such. And I think we should brand it as such. So therefore, I'm going to give it the metal test, which of course every other YouTuber has already done, but I gotta do the due diligence that I have to do. Mayonnaise Duvel Katsi, that's John Brown's signature model. It's a phenomenal guitar and very lean, but very bitey. So let's see if that's a good pair. want to hear this played well, John Brown is also doing a review, I think, of this or the 100. So just go to him and, see him do it in goodly. But this is high gain now. Ormsby, what's that thing called? Hype 7. Doesn't get a lot more metal than this. And so on and so on. Usually for low end, you need something with more headroom so that the power amp doesn't get flabby. I don't feel any flabbiness. I just feel a mighty wind? No, a mighty power. Whatever. Mighty Wind, good movie. And active pickups. Moving on. Harley Benton Amarok baritone active EMGs. Very different than the Strat we had before. Crunch channel. I have no idea what I'm playing. It's late. Yeah, that works. Not only is the SLO an amazing amp for the heavy shit, not only is it an amazing amp, as we saw, for jazzy kind of stuff, or for shimmering cleans with that hollow body we had, it is one of the Shredder's wet dreams. It is an amazing amp for leads. So we're gonna try this right here. Oh, it doesn't make sense to do my 2 cents, because what are you going to say about an amp that has stood the test of time with some of the biggest artists out there? In, as I might say, almost every genre. I mean, from Stevie Ray, I can't even say that, Stevie Ray Vaughan, who had one to check out shortly before he died, and, liked what he heard. I can't see a style that this can't do. From the pop rock, because it's got the beautiful kind of low gainy things, blues, absolutely. Cleans, hell yeah. Like, it's got enough high end on tap to be super sparkling clean. And right now, everything I could ever want, kind of. A delay, and that. And I can dial in from the beautiful clean accompaniment to the jazz with a little bit of, roomy kind of delay, to Guns N' Roses type mid-gainy riff stuff, to super ultra heavy wall of sound, chunky 7-string down-tuned things with low end that's gonna kill you. And then the same channel will do leads. And some of the best leads I've ever played. It's $26.99 in the US. Don't know where it's going to clock in Europe. It might be that. It might be, around that. For 30-watt head. Now, 30-watt is... everything we did, we were running on, medium. Middle of the road volume. But I didn't push middle of the road volume because I would die in here. This was going through the Tone King Iron Man 2 attenuator because it's way loud enough to survive in any band. There's no question about it. Okay, 20-watt amps, 30-watt, fine. Interestingly enough. So if you're saying, I always want an SLO, but it's hard to get the 100 because that relatively limited in production numbers, and it's $4,000. I can't justify $4,000. I mean, can you justify 2,600? If you can't justify $4,000, maybe 2,600 is also a little bit much to justify, but it is what you'd have to pay to get an insane amp. Oh, yeah, I know I'm getting paid for this video. Yeah, I could say all this because I'm getting paid for it, but I'm not. This is, realistically, probably it would be my go-to amp. I always said, when people say, what's your one amp that you would get Desert Island amp to cover everything? And I always kind of say the Rev Dynamis, except for metal. The Rev Dynamis can do a shit ton of things. Beautiful amp, but not the really heavy stuff. 2 channels, great amp. It's an amazing amp. This is simpler in terms of the controls, but this could be my one go-to amp for it doesn't matter what style I play, it'll cover it. And no, that's not a paid-for opinion, that's my opinion. This sadly has to go again, but I think I'm going to place one of these on the amp rack. Pedal-friendly, this everything you heard was without a boost, without an overdrive, nothing. It was the amp and the delay, and that's it. It's very impressive what Peter Ahrens and Mike Soldano, cooked up. Those people are geniuses. Soldano's back, and I'm going to say it's back better than it was. Being built by my friends in California, all US made. What else do you want to hear? If you got the cash, drop it now. It's ridiculous. Thanks, Leslie, for switching this. Thanks, Peter, Mike, Avi, Dennis, Stefan, all you guys. I love all the people from the company. They're really good people. And nowadays, you can't say that about any company. So, support the friends, support the good people. All the links below and animals at the end.
Till the sun goes out. Empty bottles on the dance floor. Ideas have died. I wish that I could understand more. So I won't stop trying till the sun goes up above.